Good YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, more interesting news surrounding undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson of Jiu-Jitsu King Fury. Ahead of his highly anticipated trilogy match with Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer and rival Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Now, Tyson Fury's father, Big John Fury, who was a professional boxer himself, Big John Fury, he weighs in on the highly anticipated trilogy match, the fight being postponed, and the build-up, and the outcome, okay? So, with that said, John Fury, who was a professional boxer in his own right, but he finished his career with 8 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. 1 win by way of knockout. 2 times in his career, he was knocked out. Okay? He lost his last 2 fights as a professional to a guy with 23 losses and only 19 wins, and another guy with only 11 wins, and he was knocked out in both of those fights. With that said, Big John Fury, he knows the sport of boxing. Obviously, he's going to pull for his son, as he should. Big John Fury, he weighs in, and he lets it be known that his son has been struggling in training camp. Okay? He exposes this. Once again, Team Fury let the cat out the bag. Big John Fury says his son has been struggling in training camp for this trilogy match. But he says it's okay because although he's struggling in training camp and he's not looking good, I'm paraphrasing, he said he looked like you fill in the blank ahead of this trilogy match. He says he's still going to get in there and he's still going to beat Deontay Wilder, and it could cost Deontay Wilder more than just the fight. It could cost him the ultimate sacrifice, essentially. John Fury obviously has vested interest in his son. John Fury was concerned that his son, Tyson Fury, could get seriously hurt against Deontay Wilder, who is arguably the hardest puncher in the history of sport of boxing, knocking down and knocking out every opponent he's ever faced, including knocking down Tyson Fury twice in their career, in their first fight. Okay? Tyson Fury, 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 21 wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age. He stands at 6'9" with an 85-inch arm reach. Last time he was in the ring was February 2020 when he faced Deontay Wilder and got a 7th-round stoppage victory. Okay? So Tyson Fury's inactivity, according to John Fury, could be a concern. We know John Fury, he stated when arbitration, because it had to go to arbitration, it had to go to, mediation because they tried to avoid the contractually obligated trilogy match with Deontay Wilder. They looked to maneuver around it, essentially, and they wanted to face off against fellow countrymen, 2-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua. With that said, Deontay Wilder, 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. The loss and the draw coming at the hands of Tyson Fury. 41 wins by way of knockout. Stands at 6'7" with an 83-inch arm reach. He's 35 years of age. And again, last time he was in the ring was when he faced off against Tyson Fury. So John Fury, when the arbitration ruled in favor of Deontay Wilder, he said he didn't like it. He stated that he wanted Tyson Fury, his son, to vacate the belt because he didn't believe that he would be ready for a fight with Deontay Wilder because he was preparing for Anthony Joshua, who's a completely different fighter than Deontay Wilder, okay? Anthony Joshua with 24 wins, 1 loss. Anthony Joshua is 6'6", with an 82-inch arm reach, okay? So he's not as mobile, is not as quick, and he doesn't have as much power as Deontay Wilder does, okay? So with that said, Tyson Fury had his sights set on, according to John Fury, Anthony Joshua, okay? And he wanted Tyson Fury to vacate the belt and move on, proceed with Anthony Joshua because that was his focus. He stated now he has to shift his attention to Deontay Wilder after he had his complete focus on facing off against Anthony Joshua. So now he states that his son, essentially, he says that the rumors of Tyson Fury struggling, there was reports and rumors that Tyson Fury was struggling with one undefeated rising heavyweight American prospect star boxer Jared Big Baby Anderson, who only has a total of 9 fights. It was even reported that Jared Anderson knocked Tyson Fury out on his feet in sparring, and that Tyson Fury essentially wasn't looking good. Thus, the reason why, they came up with this. Tyson Fury tested positive with the C19, and that the fight had to be postponed from their scheduled July 24th, this Saturday. Tomorrow's supposed to be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, at T-Mobile Arena. Then it had to be rescheduled to October 9th, 3 months later, okay? And Tyson Fury, once again, yesterday, he came out, he stated that he quarantined for 17 days, 3 extra days from the requirement day, 14 days, and that he only has a total of 10 team members in his team, when they stated that it was 9 or more members in his team that tested positive for the C19. So they said it was an outbreak, 9 or more people in his camp. Well, Tyson Fury says he only has 10 people. He only carries 10 people in his camp. So how could it be 9 or more when we only heard about himself and undefeated, rising heavyweight title contender, Efe Ajagba, star boxer, okay? Those were the only 2 that were notable. His trainer, his strength condition coach, other sparring partners, they didn't test positive. Only Tyson Fury did, and Efe Ajagba. So, but we was told that it was an outbreak and 9 or more people. Well, then Tyson Fury states that he only has 10 members in his camp. But then he states that he has sparring partners that it's a revolving door. They come in and out, different sparring partners. But we know he already has 4 sparring partners in camp. So there's a lot of conflicting reports coming from that. And it seems as if Tyson Fury was trying to buy time. And essentially, Big John Fury, he's letting it be known that he was struggling in camp. So he says, although he was struggling in camp, he's still going to look great the night of the fight, and he's still going to dominate Deontay Wilder. He's going to essentially dominate him even greater fashion than he did the second fight, and it could ultimately cost Deontay Wilder the ultimate price of his life. Okay, now we know Jared Anderson, 9 wins, no losses, no draws, 9 wins by way of knockout, 21 years of age, standing at 6'4" with a 78 in arm reach. That means that Tyson Fury has a 5-inch height advantage over Jared Anderson, and he has a 7-inch arm reach advantage over Jared Big Baby Anderson, and he has an 11-year age advantage over Jared Big Baby Anderson, and he has obviously the experience edge over Jared Big Baby Anderson. And it's being reported that Jared Anderson was giving him all types of problems in sparring, and essentially Big John Fury, he all but confirms that that was the case. He stated that yes, he has been struggling. He looked like in camp, but ultimately, he's going to be back on track the night of the fight. That has nothing to do with him in the ring. So this lets us know that they were looking to buy time. Okay, they were looking to buy time. They were looking to get Tyson Fury on track. Tyson Fury, he stated he's been in camp, he's been training all of this time. He was focused, but at the end of the day, Tyson Fury, wasn't confident that he could win this fight. Big John Fury, his dad, he's not confident, and it's abundantly clear his team is not confident that he could win this trilogy match, especially not the version that they saw in training camp, and they wanted to give it a little bit more time. Okay, Tyson Fury, he took to social media and he said, don't blame him for the positive test. Well, then who do you blame? He pointed the finger at revolving door of sparring partners that, essentially exposed him to it. So we also know that Big John Fury, he stated that Deontay Wilder could be a whole different revamped fighter in the trilogy match. He can be, he has a chip on the shoulder, obviously. He's more motivated, and that could be an issue. This is the Big John Fury. Tyson Fury even stated that he sees Deontay Wilder improvements, but he expects him to essentially, some point in time in the fight, fall back into his old habits, be his old self. He don't expect him to keep it up. We know Ricky Hatton, he stated that Deontay Wilder, looked great in the fight, and that he knows that Deontay Wilder could be a different guy. He, urges Tyson Fury to take more focus and be more focused. So it's abundantly clear to me that they were looking to buy time. John Fury confirms it, but he says that, even though he was struggling in camp, that doesn't have anything to do with night of the fight. He could struggle in camp, but the night of the fight, he's going to be, a completely different guy. So that's what Big John Fury is stating. But we got to see how this plays out and unfolds. Obviously, it's been moved back to October 9th now. And again, Tyson Fury is being reported that he was going to fly back to the UK. So now he's stating that he's going to trim down his team even further than what it already is, of 10 members. Tyson Fury stated that now his brothers are not going to be allowed. Anybody, his sparring partners are going to have to be very strict on their whereabouts. He stated that, it's just going to be him, his strength and condition coach, assistant head coach, and his Andy Lee, who's a former world champion, and a cousin of his head trainer in Sugar Hill, and a few sparring partners. Not even his brothers are going to be allowed in camp until the week of the fight. And he says that even then he's going to take every precaution possible to make sure he gets to the finish line. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Oh, before I get to that, Tyson Fury is the WBC heavyweight champion. Deontay Wilder made some statements when he said that he wanted to be essentially, he wanted to catch a body, right? And that didn't go unnoticed, as the WBC said they was going to investigate it. The WBC, they stated that that was an issue that was unprofessional. And here Big John Fury says that it could cost Tyson Fury it could cost Deontay Wilder the ultimate price. And yet the WBC has yet to make any mention of these comments. Investigate it, as they did with Deontay Wilder. They publicly let it be known that they were going to investigate Deontay Wilder. How come they're not publicly letting it be known they want to investigate Tyson Fury and his father comments? That's all I got for y'all, man. Make sure you hit the like button. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.